But now on to the start finish straight. He's so close behind, so I was not really looking to fight it. But I break on the limit pretty much, not losing any time myself, and yeah, we make contact. So I have no idea who was at fault there. I was going to give him all the space that he needed. Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome to F1 2020. And as I'd been talking in my previous few videos, League Racing has officially started. And welcome to round 2 of this IRC Tier 1 season for F1 2020. Well, what happened to Australia, you might think? Well, it's an incredibly short highlight reel, so I try to keep it even shorter still for this video. So yeah, for round 1 in Australia, I just lost connection to Steam before the race even started, and then just yeah, at the starting of the race I had no idea what happened. The car was going into neutral and first for the start, and although the race start was decent, I had no force feedback from the wheel or the game itself, and yeah, the button to look behind was not working, so I was taking it
Just
really cautious
lagging like
into
crazy.
this
What's that
T1 and lost a lot of positions as a result. And after that, well, I had to ask my engineer almost every lap that I raced that if I was in the lobby, because the game was giving me such poor feedback that I had no idea if I was even racing, because when you're driving you need some feedback from your steering. If you're turning, there would be some resistance, so
Oh
you'd know
shit.
that you're driving, and when there's no resistance you never know when the rear wheels are slipping or when you're going into oversteer. So that is what happened to me on multiple occasions in this race, and I finally, after 3 spins, decided to call it a day. It was just impossible to drive without force feedback. And yeah, this first race I was hoping it could be better, but this was what it was, and as a result we finished plumb last in P19. So definitely not a good start to the season, but this is Bahrain, and although this is not a track that I really fancy, I knew that I had the pace to be consistent at least with the top runners, and that is what matters in my opinion around Bahrain. And yeah, I really consider myself to be a Sunday driver more than a Saturday driver. I think my race pace is better than my qualifying pace, at least in this game. So I was just hoping that nothing like what happened in Australia happens in this race, and we come around for a first flying lap and we do a 1 minute 26.0, which was good enough for provisional pole at that moment. But yeah, it was not really a lap that I was really happy with, even considering it was a banker. But now let me take you around for the fastest lap which I did around this circuit, as a race engineer gets a little too excited at the start of the lap, so I had to tell him to not give me any more radio for the session. You can hear your car dragging along the straight, and just before the 100-meter board, brake in a straight line, clip the inside curb, which we don't, but it's all about the exit coming out of that corner. Abuse the curbs on entry and on exit for turns 2 and 3, and then it's a straight run into turn 4. Eyes to the left now at the 100-meter board, brake in a straight line. You have to clip the inside curb and then make sure you use all of the track that's available on exit. Abuse this curb entirely, and then this next left to right. Use the left curb to set up the right, and then clip both of these curves on entry. Straight line braking into this section, very important to not lock up, but equally easy to do that, as we still lose time out of that corner as we put a wheel on the curb, coming up to probably one of the toughest corners on this circuit. Very easy to lock up under braking as we do, but we still manage to gain time on exit to that corner, coming up to this next high speed left and then uphill right section, just in the middle of the 150-meter boards. Brake in a straight line, and then make sure you use all of the track that's available. Stick to the inside for this uphill right hander, and then eyes to the right. When you spot that orange barrier, brake in a straight line, and then it's a straight run onto this back straight of this Bahrain International Circuit. Coming up to the last corner just after the 100-meter board, brake in a straight line, clip the inside curb, which we very well do, and then it's a straight run to the start finish straight. DRS again is available, and we come around to do a 1 minute 25.9, which I wasn't really happy with, although it was good enough for provisional pole again. But I knew that the fast runners towards the end would really just smash the times which I had put. But yeah, and although I was really fast on this last run, I just lost so much time coming out of that last corner. And yeah, as I say on the team radio, it was just really tough to manage a good time could have qualified in P4, but yeah, I think it was not really important, and I was kind of happy to qualify in P5 because that means you will be starting on the left side of the grid. And just before the start of the race, my race engineer tells me that my teammate Arav would not be participating in this race because of connection issues. So yeah, connection issues with Steam still plaguing the Haas team for these first two rounds, but yeah, I decided to put that behind me and then just on this formation lap, just doing the regular stuff, keeping everything in check, making sure the temperatures are fine as we come up to the grid now for the race start. And I knew I was the only Haas car, so I had to put points on the table for the team and myself. But it's lights out in Bahrain now, and yeah, we get a decent start compared to all the other people around us, and we're already in P3 coming up into turn 1. I decided to take it a lot more cautious than I would have normally because it's my second league race, and it's very important to make sure you make it through the first lap without any damage. As Rajdeep Fall in front of us is having a field day, he just cuts the corner and comes up in front of us. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens about that. Coming up into turn 4, we try to have a look down the inside of Rajdeep Paul, but he covers it almost instantly, and through this twisty section it's just so tough to keep a straight line with all the dirt here. We try to have a look down the inside again, but we decide against it, and yeah, almost donate our front wing to the gearbox of Rajdeep Paul. So it's all about keeping it in one piece on lap 1, and I knew that I had the pace, I had the race pace at least to challenge these guys in the future if need be. And yeah, I had 29 more laps to launch an attack on the guys in front, but this lap 1 is all about keeping it in one piece and making sure you don't do anything too erratic, which we managed to do somewhat. And coming up to lap 2 now, we see that behind us we have Casey and Maranello Baby, who's on the medium tires. So Maranello Baby, with his pace, I knew even with the medium tires would be knocking sooner or later. But coming up into turn 1, just behind Rajdeep Paul, and my entire objective right now was to stay close enough to the guys in front to have DRS and evade any threat from Maranello Baby. But now, as you can see behind us, Maranello Baby has overtaken Casey, and on the next lap Russell does the same. So yeah, it was all the more important for me now to be in the DRS of these guys in front of us if we had any chance or any hope of getting a decent finish later in the race. And coming up into turn 1 again behind Rajdeep Paul, locking up, you can see we gained so much under braking, and thankfully we have DRS for this straight. So at least on this occasion Maranello Baby would not be able to close up at least into turn 4 on this occasion. As now we come up to sector 3 on lap 3, and we see that behind us a Red Bull is just stationary on the straight, as you can see in the minimap on the bottom left of your screen. But right now it was all about just maintaining a consistent pace and making sure you don't lose time under virtual safety car, and it was very important to conserve fuel and just replenish our energy storage. But yeah, coming up to the end of virtual safety car, and because there was no DRS on this occasion due to the safety car, and just look at how much of the gap Maranello Baby has close to us on this occasion. So it was all the more important for me to now close up again to Rajdeep Paul and be in his DRS if I were to avoid getting overtaken from Maranello Baby on the medium tires. So we're again pushing this car to its limits, just making sure we use all of the curves that are available, and we gain so much time under braking again. So I knew that I had the pace to overtake Rajdeep Paul, but it was all about timing it to perfection as we now come up to lap 4. And I thought that Rajdeep Paul was going to pit, but turns out it was just, yeah, he was trying to break the slipstream and caught us snapping, to be honest. Coming up into turn 1, we again gain so much under braking, and we have DRS again for this second straight of this track. As now behind us we see that Maranello Baby is not really close enough to have a go in turn 4, so that was a relief. But we go deep into this corner, and I knew that this was really help Maranello Baby. But behind us, as we see Maranello Baby spins coming out of that turn, so yeah, ambition beyond addition, as Martin Brundle would put it, and it's just so easy to do that around Bahrain with the tire wear and the tricky traction zone. So yeah, I tell my race engineer that Mara is out, and I was kind of happy to see that. And yeah, one of the contenders for the podium positions was out, and now it was all about just doing consistent laps on my part. And I knew that if I could stick with the guys in front of me, I knew I had a chance to finish on the podium at least. So coming up into turn 1 again on lap 6, and as you can see now behind me, Rissel has caught up to our back, and when I saw Maranello baby retire, I was kind of happy, but I did not consider that Rissel would be so fast and he would almost close the gap instantly in the matter of a lap. But now on to the start finish straight. He's so close behind, so I was not really looking to fight it, but I brake on the limit pretty much, not losing any time myself, and yeah, we make contact. So I have no idea who was at fault there. I was going to give him all the space that he needed if he wanted to go down the inside, but yeah, he chose to just keep the car side by side, and into turn 4 now I just had no intention of giving up this place on the inside, so we just open the steering and block him into turn 4, because I was not really wanting to concede the position there, but just looking at how much faster he was under in through that twisty section, I decided to finally let him go. And although I was not really happy with his racing into turn 1 on the previous occasion, I realized that I could really use his pace to close up to the guys in front. But towards the end of lap 7, I topped
out in P11.
And yeah, I think fair play to him, we did come out in P12 because the guys in front of us also made a pit stop. So yeah, we have a clean patch in front of us now. So yeah, I took the call and we pit on lap 8, and yeah, we have a little bit of a clean patch in front of us. So now it was all about just getting into the rhythm again on these hard tires, because it's just so tough to shift your driving style when you shift from a soft to hard compound, and there's just so much difference in grip through these corners. So you have to really adapt as soon as you can, as fast as possible. And in front of us, as you can see, the guys are fighting with some of the runners which had not pit. So I knew that this was now race critical for me to close up on the guys in front of us if I had any chance or any intention of challenging for the podium later in the race. So now we come up behind the Renault of Babaji, and for good measure he's teleporting as well on the start finish straight. So yeah, I tell my engineer exactly that, and it's just not, it's very risky doing that with the car that's teleporting, overtaking into braking zones, because you never know when they'll brake or when they'll teleport in front of you, and that is really dangerous when it comes to damage on the front wing.
Push as much as you can. Top 6 still have to pit.
So now, as was told by my race engineer, I knew I was already pushing, but it was now race critical for me again to get past Babaji as soon as possible and as cleanly as possible. So now into this turn we go round the outside, and he defends it for some reason. I have no idea why he did that, but yeah, although we make contact, we managed to get past cleanly, and I think I lost about 2 to 3 seconds behind him on that lap itself. So we are not ideal, but I think it's always very tricky to make an early pit stop and come in traffic. But now I was really happy to see that the guys in front of me also had to just make their way through these drivers with alternate strategies. So now it was also very important for me to overtake Evil Dog into this very next corner, and as I had done with Babaji, I tried to just come on, overtake and rich mix into this turn, but Evil Dog on this occasion way too fast in a straight line. But now coming out of this left-hander uphill, we see as I tell on the radio to my race engineer that Tanish has spun.
Push. He is on 10 laps old mediums.
Why is he fucking fighting it, yaar? So I was not really too happy with Evil Dog on that occasion, but fair play to him. He was very much entitled to do what he did, and he did not want to be overtaken on the back straight. So I thought with DRS I'll do it on the start finish straight, and now you'll see how important it is to just get rid of the back markers or the people on different strategies as soon as possible, because I was trying to undercut Rissel, and although he was on the medium strategy, a different strategy, I thought that if I quit early and have decent outlaps and just the laps on hard tires, I may be able to undercut him and eventually come out in front, and then maybe eventually just hold on to that track position. But now coming up behind Rissel, we managed to keep ourselves in his DRS, so that was a positive coming up into lap 13 now. And I knew that if I could just stick with him through these laps and just stay within his DRS, maybe eventually I can force him into an error. And but right now I think my entire objective was to just stay behind him, save as much fuel and DRS as possible, as we now come up to lap
is on 4 lap
13.
softs. Who? Rajdeep. He is doing a two-stopper.
Okay, thank you for that information.
Copy.
So now that because I'd missed that Rajdeep was on the soft medium strategy initially, my race engineer reminded me on lap 14, and I was pretty happy that Rajdeep made that error, and I knew that now I was well in contention for P3 or P4. But in front of us, as you can see, we have IRC, Nova Pro Player, and Rissel. So my objective right now was to just keep General Pepe behind me because he was on fresher hard tires, and yeah, he was consistently doing better lap times. So now my objective was to really just fight for track position if need be. But now coming out of turn 1 on lap 15, we see that we have an incident in front of us. So IRC No More Pro Player who was so fast in quali and through the initial laps, it was such a shame for him, but I was happy that he made that error, and that would now kind of seal my position on the podium. But into this corner I was again under threat from him. But if you look in my rear view mirror, left rear view mirror, now you see that IRC Nova Pro Player spins, which again ambition beyond adhesion, because yeah, you can never, it's just so risky overdriving the car around Bahrain. It's just under traction, the car just lets go all of a sudden, and it's very tough. But coming up to the start of lap 16 now, and you can see General Pepe was considerably faster, and just as I had planned with Rissel some few laps ago, I did the same with Pepe, not losing any time and just letting him go, and now just focusing on using his pace to catch up to Rissel if I can just stay within his DRS. But coming up to the second sector on lap 16,
And Anirudh has front wing damage. Push.
Rissel goes really wide and then joins in a dangerous manner to the track, and really slows down all the people behind him. And then with this front wing damage, Anirudh pretty much hogging the middle of the track. So yeah, I think although I knew that I would get past Anirudh, I knew that it would cost me a lot of DRS and fuel, and this is just not what I wanted if I were to stay behind General Pepe and have his DRS. So coming up into this very fast right-hander, we jump down the inside of Anirudh, and he locks up, which is, yeah, well, he would have anyway because he had no front end grip. But now again I have the task of just really spending my ERS and fuel to catch up to these guys again. No radio. Lap 17 onwards, and just watching these two guys fight, I told my engineer to not give me any radio for the remainder of the race pretty much, and my objective right now was to stay as close as possible, and if in case these guys have an incident or anything, any untowardly incidents, I should be there to just pounce on any opportunity. But you can see that General Pepe has just managed to evade my DRS, and yeah, we again gain so much time under braking as we have done with all the other people. But it's just, although we have DRS on this occasion, you'll see that it's just very difficult to follow, and he was on the fresher hard tires, so we still had consistent pace through these laps, at least behind General Pepe with considerably older hard tires. And I knew that General Pepe had 3 seconds worth of penalties, so my objective right now was to just stay in his DRS, and if the race were to finish as it is right now, I knew that eventually I will finish P2 because the guys in front of me had penalties. So coming up to turn 4 on lap 19, we again have DRS on General Pepe, and we are closing in, and it's just so critical right now. But
48%, yeah.
I lost so much ERS and fuel closing in on these guys. Not important. Only radio concerning Rissel and General Pepe now.
A few tenths per lap to the guy.
And also just navigating through some of the people on other strategies, we just lost so much ERS and fuel, and through these laps was where I lost just so much time, as you'll see later on. I was about a second slower than what I could do, simply because I had no ERS to spend. And laps 24 and 25 I spent entirely to just recuperate all the energy to just regain whatever I'd lost. And we meet an old friend again on lap 25, only this time he gives us DRS and doesn't really teleport or cause any accidents. So yeah, on the start finish straight again on lap 26, and we do a 1 minute 31.4, but now we have a little more ERS, around 34-33%. No radio for the last 3 laps, please. Absolutely no radio. So now I knew that General Pepe had 6 seconds worth of penalties. So my objective right now was to stay within 6 seconds. And as you can see, we're doing the fastest laps which we've done up until now. We do a 1 minute 30.5 on 60% worn tires, hard tires on lap 27. And again, coming up to lap 28, we do a 1 minute 30.7. So just 2/10 off our fastest time with these worn tires. And again, as you can see, we have just, yeah, our tires are pretty much gone at this moment. Coming up to the last lap again, and we have done a 1 minute 30.5. So yeah, really pushing the car in these closing stages, because I wanted to just be within 6 seconds of General Pepe, and if I could just do that, it was a solid P2 finish for the team and myself. But coming up to the last section of this last lap of this Bahrain Grand Prix, and just a final push with the DRS, with the ERS, with the overtake mode and the fuel, and I was just hoping that I'd have closed the gap to General Pepe, but yeah, we got 4/10 off. GG boys, GG. But I just had no pace in the end. It was
Absolutely fantastic.
very tough.
Very good.
Really, you might get a P2. Hold on.
But yeah, it feels good to be finishing on the podium for the first time, and yeah, our second ever league race, first ever proper league race, to be honest, because in Australia there was not so much racing on track. It was just me struggling with Steam and Codemasters in general. But yeah, just 4/10 off General Pepe in final race pace, and it's just, yeah, entirely gutted at this moment. But I think, yeah, I drove a consistent race without any single warning, even for track extension or contact. And yeah, to do that for 30 laps around, on a track like Bahrain, which is not my favorite. But yeah, second ever league race, very excited, very happy to finish on the podium, and hopefully that sets me up beautifully for the races to come. Hanoi is up next, so make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future videos. And yeah, keep an eye out for all the other videos that I do on this channel as well. Do let me know in the comment section down below what areas of the race or what segments did you really enjoy, what were your opinions on the moves other people pulled on me, and just the race in general. But the next race is in Hanoi on the 29th, so make sure you tune into the live stream on the IRC YouTube channel to support me. And yeah, the next few videos from YouTuber in a reasonably priced car series would drop this week, so make sure you keep an eye out for those videos as well. But yeah, for now that would be all. So yeah, until the next video, until the next time, just stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one.